Happy Friday. So we've talked about this a little bit, but I wanted to hammer home a concept that I just think is super important, especially as we're going into this exercise of getting really serious about the number of asks that we're doing every single week. And that is the difference between marketing and prospecting. And yes, these terms maybe aren't used as much in Pure Romance. I seem to. I've coached and worked with a lot of different direct sales and network marketing coaches, and these are just kind of more industry general terms, but it's a super important concept because they're two sides of the same coin, and I really believe that you need to be doing both of them, and not to discount one or the other. Sometimes people get down on prospecting or down on marketing, and as far as what I've seen in terms of people that are super successful, they do a combo of both of those things. So marketing is basically everything that you put out there, right? It's passive. It's anytime that you make a post on Facebook. It's anytime you go live in your VIP group or publicly. It's anything that you are putting out, and it's more of a passive thing. And you're putting it out there hoping that people are going to bite on it. And sometimes they do. And as your network grows, actually more and more people do. And so there are people who are incredibly successful doing marketing and having leads come to them because they built up a really cool social network, or they built up a big VIP group. I see Patience on here. She's someone who is amazing at marketing and is great at getting leads coming to her. Marketing is passive, and there's nothing wrong with that because it actually becomes active if you do it right. Now, prospecting is actually connecting with people. So that's you sending a message to someone, that's you having a conversation, asking them if they're open to taking a look, asking them if they've ever thought about doing Pure Romance. Any kind of an actual ask is going to be prospecting. It's active. And here's the deal, they go hand in hand. And so ideally what happens when you do marketing, when you do a power post, like Jennifer posted a really cool example of one that she did earlier this week, or when you do something like I must ask you a question, right? That I must ask you a question. And then people comment on it, guess what? That turns into prospecting, because that turns into an active conversation on the back end. It's not that you're posting something and miraculously people are, clicking a link and signing up. That's spamming people. It is engaging in conversations. It's inviting people to ask for more, right? To raise their hand and say, I'm interested. And then you go into prospecting, which is, again, that direct conversation. And so, again, they're two sides of the same coin. I think it's important to do both. I think it's important not to discount one or the other. I get irritated when I hear people hating on prospecting or hating on marketing, because you really got to be doing both. The problem with only doing marketing, even if you personally are really great at it and I get a ton of leads just by marketing now because I built a big network. So I can do a post and I can have a bunch of people raise their hand and I can turn those into conversations. But can a brand new person who has 200 Facebook friends duplicate that? Probably not, right? Hi, Tiffany. So that's why I think it's so important to teach them how to actually, have asks, how to actually engage in conversations with people. And then in the meantime, they're building up their network, they're doing the marketing, and then they are going to be having leads that start coming to them. So that is just something that I think is an important distinction. And then, when people are like, oh, marketing, don't waste your time marketing, prospecting is where it's at. That's BS too, because marketing, honestly, if you do it right, it's a more long-term strategy, but that can drastically increase the number of people that you ultimately are going to be in front of and that ultimately are going to come to you. So I hope that is helpful. It's super important to be doing both of those things. Prospecting, marketing, two sides of the same coin. Marketing is passive. It's anything that you're putting out there. But when people comment, when people raise their hand, when people like your post, then you're taking that to private message. You're turning it into an active conversation. You're turning that into an active ask, and that becomes prospecting. And then you also can just go and connect with people cold. And again, not strangers, right? But people who who you have met, who you would love to work with, and connect with them and ask if they've ever thought about doing something like this. So that was it in a nutshell. I hope that is helpful. And again, I know I talk about this a little bit different than maybe we do in Pure Romance land, but these are more standard industry terms that I think just simplify it, for me. It's like, okay, is it passive? Is it active? Is it prospecting? Is it marketing? Do them both, get really good at doing both of them, and man, crazy stuff can happen, especially when you build up those VIP groups. And one last thing, that's the other reason, again, you don't have to do parties at Pure Romance. You'll notice that our language has shifted a lot. We don't say it's all about the party. I certainly don't say that because we have incredibly successful people in our team watching right now who don't do parties, and they are doing amazing. One of the cool things about the party experience, so for me personally, even though I am only doing online right now, is that hostesses are bringing leads to me, right? So it's a way that I'm I'm prospecting basically one person, and she's bringing me 30 people. She's bringing me 30 leads who I then can connect with and see if they're open to any of these things. And so I think that that kind of a model can be really valuable in helping to build your leads list very quickly. And I look at it as a lead building strategy. The sales for me are bonus, right? Because I'm doing sales in other areas. But anyway, that's it. I'm not going to drag on with this, but I thought that was important to talk about the distinction. Have a wonderful rest of your weekend, and let us know what's working for you this weekend. All right. Bye.